Happy New Year! I'm so excited that the new year has come and it's time to listen to the message. So, today I'm going to start with a story by James S. Hewitt. There once was a man who went through the forest seeking any bird of interest to him. He caught a young eagle, brought it home, and put it with the chickens. He fed it chicken food, and even though it was the king of the birds, it ate the chicken food. 5 years later, a man came to see him after passing through the garden. "That bird is an eagle, not a chicken." "Yes," said the owner, "but I have trained it to be a chicken, so it is no longer an eagle." "No," said the man, "it is still an eagle. It has the heart of an eagle, the wingspan of an eagle, and I will help it soar high into the heavens." "No," said the owner, "that is a chicken. He will never fly." They agreed to test the theories. So the man picked up the eagle, held it up, and said with great intensity, "Eagle, you are an eagle. You belong to the sky and not to this earth. Stretch your wings and fly." The eagle turned this way and that, then jumped down, saw the chickens eating their food lower, and ate with them. The owner said, "I told you, this is a chicken." "No," said the man, "this is an eagle. Give it another chance tomorrow." So the next day, he took it atop of the household and said, "Eagle, you are an eagle. You belong to the sky and not to this earth. Stretch your wings and fly." But again the eagle, seeing the chickens eating below him, jumped down and ate with them. The owner said, "I told you it wasn't a chicken." "No," said the man, "it is an eagle. Give it only one other chance. I will make it fly tomorrow." The next morning, he rose early and took the eagle outside of the city and away from the houses, to the foot of a high mountain. The sun was just rising, covering the top of the mountain with gold, and every cliff was glistening in the joyous, beautiful morning. He picked up the eagle and said to it, "Eagle, you are an eagle. You belong to the sky and not to this earth. Stretch your wings and fly." The eagle looked around and trembled as if it were coming to life, a different life. But it did not fly. The man then grabbed its head and made it look straight at the sun. Suddenly, it stretched out its wings, and with the screech of an owl, it flew out of his hands and mounted higher and higher into the sky to never return. Though it had been kept and tamed as a chicken, it was indeed an eagle. You see, you take us humans and you put us among the chickens in the world. You give us rules to live by and standards. We are moral people so long as we live by the rules and standards, and we live out our lives of inadequacy existence. But you let someone like Christ come along, straighten our backs, point us in the right direction, point our heads towards the heavens, and then suddenly we realize that we are the sons and daughters of Christ. We are no chickens. We are eagles. The year of 2020 is gone and finished. We now know that we're having to wear masks and social distance, but we have it down pat by now. There is now a vaccine that people are starting to get, and hopefully it will get rid of the coronavirus. Going into 2021, we are prepared for what is going on around us. We are ready to be with our families and friends again. We now know that there is a time for everything that we do, and that there is better ways to spend our time. And today's reading is from Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verses 1 through 13. There is an occasion for everything. There is a time for every activity under the heaven. A time to give birth, a time to die, a time to plant, and a time to uproot, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to throw stones and a time to gather stones, a time to embrace and a time to avoid embracing, a time to search and a time to count, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to tear and a time to sow, a time to be silent and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace. There is a time for everything in life. God has all of these times perfectly planned. We as humans happen to always want to either be early or to be late. We are never on time. Why is that? Why do we always feel that our time is more important than God's? 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 8 says, "But do not forget this one thing, my dear friends. With the Lord a day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is like a day." What 2 Peter is telling us is that we need to practice patience. We need to stop being so worried about time. I have always been so worried about time, which I would always be planning everything out, and it sounds like I was just being prepared, right? Well, I was never prepared. All my plans would always fall through, and I was always stressed out about those plans, not noticing that everything miraculously would fall into place. I have perfect examples too. When I decided to go to college, I decided that Central Methodist was the only college I could go to. Mom ended up telling me that I should look into this other college because the tuition prices were way less. I ended up going to North Central Missouri College, and it happened that the week of I got accepted, got an apartment, changed my degrees, and it ended up all falling into place perfectly. I even transferred jobs so I didn't have to do job interviews. I then ended up changing my degree, deciding not to go on with my degree after 2 years, which ended up being the perfect college to go to for that. All of it worked out because of the planning of God and the help of my mom. And any of that would not have happened without either of them. Another great example is ministry. I first felt called when I was 17. I knew that I wasn't ready, but I didn't know how to tell people that I was being called, but I wasn't ready to do anything about it. So I stayed quiet. When I was 19, I got a call about Elmo United Methodist Church needing a pastor. That was when I knew God was telling me that it was time to go. There is a time for everything under heaven. How many of you have stories like these, where everything worked out, but it was needed to work out in God's time, not yours? My New Year's resolution this year is not to lose weight or to spend less time on Facebook or other social media. This year, my resolution is to be more patient and give my time to God. 2020 was a long year, but we were also very impatient all year. We wanted masks off the second we put them on. There is a time to shed the masks. It is just not yet. We wanted everything to go back to the way it was. There is a time to plant and a time to uproot. There is a time for everything under heaven. With this new year here, I encourage you to be an eagle.